Right. Welcome back, everybody. Recording is in progress, and we'll go ahead and finish up with our last module, focusing on some fun tech stuff. So Robbie will start us off, and then Maristella will have a good demo of Archive Space plugin for us. Go ahead, Robbie, whenever you're ready.
Um, Hi, so hopefully everyone can hear me and see my slides. I should double check.
Yeah,
Awesome.
all a go.
Awesome. So, my name is Robbie Hott. I'm an associate professor now of computer science on the teaching track here at UVA. I have a fairly long history with SNAC. I was connected with the project during my grad studies in 2013. I went on to eventually be the lead technical developer, leaving in 2018 to go teach. Um, and you can blame a lot of things on me in terms of the technical infrastructure, I think. But um, with the new Mellon grant that Diana mentioned recently, I am back to help out in more of a consulting-ish role with the technical development. So um, my plan is just to kind of give a high-level overview of what SNAC looks like, um, kind of things that we've done more recently, and kind of big picture ideas that we have going forward. And I think you've heard a lot of this before, as people have mentioned some of the things that we've been doing over the last few months. That button doesn't work. Um, the first thing I want to do is kind of show you a little bit under the hood of SNAC, with some diagrams that may or may not be readable um, on the Zoom. But if you've been around for a while, then you've probably seen some of these already. The long story short here is that SNAC's technical infrastructure is a fairly large distributed system of both custom infrastructure and components that we've built, mostly written in PHP and JavaScript, along with quite a few off-the-shelf components to make all this work. Um, it's kind of divided up into a client side, a front end, as well as a server side, where a lot of the heavy lifting and most of the processing happens kind of in the back end on the server side, where the canonical data of SNAC is stored in a Postgres relational database, and that includes all of the historical versions and all of the edits that have ever been done on all of these constellations and entities. Along with some other services that are run, some off-the-shelf services like Elasticsearch and Neo4j that help us to better index, search, find connections between identities, and kind of make this available to the front end as well. And that includes searching and things like that. We've separated off the web front ends, both the main web app that most people use through snaccooperative.org, as well as the RESTful API, a separate interface that's used by the plugins like Archive Space and OpenRefine. Um, there's also more recently a newer Laravel instance that is kind of a full stack side application that provides both the front end and the back end for the current controlled concepts manager that's being developed by SimpleThread. Overall, it's a large code base with lots of moving parts. I did the math recently, and it looks like there's about 100,000 lines of code that helps keep SNAC working today. To kind of take a step back, the technology, the overall servers that SNAC has running, the technical stack is served by two physical servers here at UVA. And the different components of the system are spread across a few virtual servers or virtual machines that's currently running on those servers. This helps us balance the load and kind of keep SNAC running smooth and making it scalable so that we can move these things around. The public-facing server that most people interact with is the SNAC web server. This has the public interfaces for the web, the snaccooperative.org, the API, and as well as the portal access. And there's a back-end, kind of more hefty server that handles the bulk of all the logic that runs in SNAC. And that connects to two other servers, one holding the canonical database, the Postgres database with all of the edits, and another server that essentially has the intel on the data, and that is Elasticsearch and Neo4j. that help us kind of reason about the data and get at the data more quickly. Um, and then there's a completely separate server, SNAC Dev, which we've been using for demos and testing out new features. That server actually has all of the functionality of all of the others together in that one instance, so that it's more of a smaller demo instance. Um, but um, there have been some recent challenges that we've been working to address. Most notably, we've had some issues with the ticketing system. So Google changed how the services connect and authenticate through Gmail. They've deprecated, I believe it's passwords for the POP mail service. And so this led to the ticketing system that we were using, OS Ticket, as well as the instance of the mailer inside of SNAC that would send email about changes and updates to stop working. Um, so this is going to require us to update some code to kind of get things back working in this regard. Um, the other thing is that SNAC's infrastructure has been very robust. We've had really significant uptime, long-term service, like both snackcooperative.org and SNACDev have been running for a long time. Um, but that means that it's coming time to patch and update the servers, as well as spring cleaning some of the code. Um, so we need to do things like update the operating systems to newer versions, upgrading the code base to use the latest versions of PHP, Postgres, Elasticsearch, and all of that. So there's some things to do here. And also, as most of us have noted with the rise of generative AI, we've had a lot of bots crawling SNAC for the data that we have. I will say that shall we say, less reputable bots don't seem to be throttling their requests or necessarily playing nicely and letting us know who they are, which has led to essentially 100% CPU utilization of SNAC Web and SNAC Dev, meaning that everything slows to a crawl. Um, and so we saw a lot of like really slow page loads and things like that. Um, but we have been working to address these. Um, over the summer, last summer, I took some time to do some not spring cleaning, but summer cleaning, cleaning up the code, making sure that any of the changes that have been made recently have been backported into the production data, the production repository for the code, and making sure that everything is kind of moved up and clean on GitHub. So the SNAC, all of the 100,000 lines of code from SNAC are publicly available on our GitHub page for others to use and try. We've also made first passes to mitigate some of the bots that have been plaguing our servers. The first iteration was kind of a quick server level, before it even gets to the SNAC code, lockout, requiring login on the SNAC dev server. Since this one is meant to be demos and meant to be not necessarily public, this was a quick way that we could kind of immediately freeze out all of the bots. So they're still hitting the server, but they can't actually get anything. So it doesn't take the time and resources to respond. So we'll see, it's very unreadable, but we'll see the image at the top when somebody comes to SNAC dev for the first time. They just get prompted for a username and password. We're not doing this for authentication. It's not a very secure password. There is only one, but it will essentially stop the bots from accessing this. And real authentication, users will still log in through Google once they've passed this primary stage. On snackcooperative.org, we implemented something a little bit more public because we don't want to lock anyone out of the site who really should be there. So this is new as of, I believe, last week. We implemented a JavaScript and cookie-based verification on snackcooperative.org. So when you first go to snackcooperative.org, you get kind of a temporary screen that says we're making sure that you're not a bot. It essentially checks for a hash that's inside of SNAC, and as soon as that is generated, you get redirected to the page you were looking for. Most people don't even see this for a second before they're into SNAC. There are still some concerns with this approach. We're still working to address making sure that archive space and open refine the plugins still work. as well as we want to make sure that good bots like the Google Search Index bot can still access SNAC. And right now, I believe that's still locked out. So that's still coming. We have new features as well. We've updated the footer and updated some of the look and feel of the site. We've been working on the controlled concepts, controlled vocabulary manager, and that is in development. Simple Threads are working on that as well as importing the ISO 639-3 language codes. We have some few planned future, like near-term things that we're looking to get done in SNAC. The first is upgrading those virtual machines, upgrading the hosts, working with Shane at IAF. That might mean partial or some migration briefly to AWS so that we can deal with the underlying hardware and servers, the host machines for these virtual machines. But upgrading everything so that everything's working, especially OS Ticket with Gmail. Simple Thread is also continuing their work. They're continuing to modernize the production pipeline so that when edits are made on GitHub, they get deployed to the actual servers, as well as working on importing the ISO 15924 script codes in the system. There's still the work on the controlled concepts manager that hopefully will be deployed very shortly, as well as kind of formalizing those bot mitigation fixes. My hope is that we can standardize this across dev and production, as well as making sure that things work for our friendly bots, as well as all of our plugins and everything. We are hoping to investigate variant name searching, hopefully with our current Elasticsearch indices, but we might be looking at kind of redesigning a little bit of that so that we have more in the near future. As well as there's been increased discussion on looking at the SNAC Lite interface and getting kind of a more simplistic editing interface online. Possible directions we could go in the future. Lots of redesign opportunities here. Search to highlight variant name searching, kind of making that search interface a little bit better, utilizing new features of Elasticsearch and things like that. Modifying the landing page when people first get to SNAC to include descriptive text, featured constellations, featured identities, to kind of make that a little bit more user-friendly. And then doing some changes to perhaps the view pages, the infrastructure to hopefully improve performance and speed, especially opening some of the larger constellations, the larger records like we'll say former president. Also, we could think about better statistics and reporting in SNAC, perhaps going to some of the gamification that Scotty mentioned earlier. Improving or refining the editing interface, modernizing the display, upgrading it to Bootstrap 5 and some of the newer modern frameworks, as well as continuing enhancements on OpenRefine and Archive Space and our plugins there. Kind of big picture ideas like what should we be doing in SNAC? What features and updates and changes should we be focusing on? So thank you all.
Thank you, Robbie.
Thanks, Robbie. In response to that question, though, would you like people to reach out to a specific email address or to like you, or do you want them to go to the technical infrastructure working group, or how would you want to field those questions if you get any?
Jerry, do you have suggestions? I'm happy for people to reach out to me, but I feel like it would probably be better to go through the working group.
Or
I found that we have to go to snaccooperative.org. The email, excuse me, snackcooperative@gmail.
yeah, I'm putting it in the chat. It's going to be snack.cooperative@gmail.com. And that goes to Jerry and myself, so we can always forward them along to the correct people if needed.